Hi, everyone. Uh, Basically, I'm a business coach, and what I do is I help companies grow from where they are and what they look at as the next goal or vision for them. I will share some of the insights I have. I have been seeing two different set of people when it comes to SI or development community. There are SIs who are system integrators, or you can say this, they themselves tell as developers, and then there are agencies. So what is the difference between two? And then how you can transfer yourself from SI to an agency. Most common questions IT outsourcing companies and business owners has been asking to me in last 10 years are this. First, how to be known, recognized, profitable, and get enterprise-size clients, how to have CRR, and what they want is hockey stick growth. They want to grow faster. Now, when you talk about an approach, there are two different approaches you find. One is developing a site, and second is making customer win. So I'll share some of the differences which I have found between SIs and agency, what are the approaches they have, and what are the differences they have. And if you wish, after listening today, that you want to become an agency, what is the pathway? It's not working. Excuse me. Okay. People look at what is that magic that make agency? What are the DNAs they have? So we'll talk about that in the second part of presentation. The first, I would like to share the 14 differences which I find. The first one, I have listed the attributes, and then there is tech-focused SI, and then there is an agency. You will meet a lot of SIs today, and there is a community here who has been doing development. So you may find either side of this. If you are on the right side, you're doing great, and if you are SI, I can say that is your next goal. So what I find is the focus. So SIs are generally technical focus, or they look at technology as a center. And when I talk about agencies, they are focused more towards clients. When you talk about core strengths, SIs are great and phenomenal in delivering tech solutions. They talk a lot of technology. They have a lot of things to share, how the technology can help you grow your business. And when you talk about agencies, they have a different communication. What they talk is how this solution can be more profitable to you or how it can drive more profit for your company. When you look at the SIs, they empower technology, and when you look at agencies, they empower brand, process automation, digitization of business processes, and overall business. Generally, SIs are found either in the cost side, if you look at from the customer point of view, or they are from investment side. So consider that if I'm a merchant, I will look at technology as one of my investment or as a cost. But when you talk about agencies, what they are generally found in creation of value, because they share value with the customers as well. I'll tell you how. Approaches. When you talk about tech-focused SIs, they generally look at e-commerce as a project based on the scope, so how your general life is. So you have a call with the customer, you ask the requirements, what you define as the scope of work, put up as a project, deliver, and client will grow on his own. When you talk about agencies, what they look at is customer-first approach. They validate client's requirement. Sometimes they say no to the customer as well, and sometimes I have seen they fight with the customer for their goods. They say this is right and this is wrong for you, and go for this. And they validate and suggest strategies to the customer. When you talk about pricing, it is commonly found that cost-plus pricing is the most commonly opted model for the SIs. When you talk about agencies, what they look at is value-based pricing models to charge their customers. When I'm saying charging their customers means they charge to the merchants, retailers, wholesalers, and so on. When you talk about billing, SIs generally work on the scope-based billing or resource-based billing or time and material base. And when I talk about agencies, I have worked with agencies who not just charge based on what they deliver, they also be part of the revenue which is generated by the store. What they get is kickback and incentives as well. So more the business is growing online, what they get is higher the revenue. This is the only way to earn more revenue being an agency or an IT company. Instead of getting into the game of increasing headcount and delivering more number of projects, you can have small number of projects, but they are delivering great revenue and profit for you. This is the only way for it. Type of teams generally found is UI, UX team, development, integration, DevOps, extension, and support teams in SI. Unlike that, you find in agency what you have is they have subject matter experts. Subject matter expert of this particular industry because they are domain or industry focused. They go for discovery sprint, or you can say consultation round. What they have is client account managers. They work on conversion rate optimization, the way previous presentation was discussed. And then what they look at is not only just developing a solution, they work on the marketing aspect, they make that site successful, and they also work on managed services of the content. For a small SI or you can say IT development company, it's tough to have such kind of people or all kind of people on the board. But if you have few of them, it can start your journey as an agency. When you talk about hassle for the client, if you look at from the client's perspective, when you deal like this, what they have is they have to hire multiple agencies, or they have to deal with multiple companies. When you talk from the agency perspective, they have a one-stop solution. When you look at the ideal, it is for micro and small merchants, and you can say retailers. This is great for MSMEs. And when we talk about agency approach, it is good for mid to large-scale merchants and enterprise clients. Relations, this is transactional, and this is more towards long-term engagement with the customer, because what they look at is not building a site, what they're looking at is building a business, building a profit for the client. Key driver for the project. Here the key driver is project manager. Here the key driver is solution specialist. They decide what is to be done. SME is one of the other key member, and they have client success managers. So you will find such designations in the agencies, and you will find this common designation in tech companies. So if you are a merchant, look at whom you are talking to. You will find you are talking to SI or an agency. Thinking. Their thinking is they put a solution in the center and think around it. Agencies, what they do is they create business flow or workflow and then try to fit relevant solutions or the components inside the solution. When you talk about sales, these guys are more focused on feature, advantage, benefit. So they have different platforms. I will not name one because there are multiple options available, and we are in Magento. It's a fantastic one. But most of the time, you will find that most of the agencies, SIs are talking about feature, advantage, or benefit or value of it. When you talk about agencies, what they look at is they prescribe like a doctor. This line is also given by one of the agency owner. They say we behave like a doctor. We prescribe right components to the customers instead of talking about the benefit or the features of the technology we are selling. So what is the difference between two? The one, which is called mindset. So these are the problem statements. Now I will go to the solution. So how you can solve this from SI to agency? It's all about paradigm shift. It's a need of change in your approach, how you think, and how you approach to the customer. To build agency cultures, I have some of the tips. Let's see some of them. The first, you have to bring customer-centric culture. So when you put customer in the center, your life starts with customer journey mapping. What you look at is you refine your business model, putting customer in the center instead of looking at a standard 4 phases like discovery, design, development, and delivery. You start looking at what customer wants, and based on that, your cycle with the customer will change. You will align your technology and processes to support client engagement instead of delivering what you are looking for. You will engage with the executives and leader from top to bottom. Your focus would be a behavioral change inside the company, and so that it reflects when you deliver to the customer. You integrate all the business units you have. Say, in companies, I have seen that different departments behave differently. But in agencies, you will find all are working for one goal, which is called making customer win. When you look at the transformation, when you bring customer-centric culture, with top to bottom cultural changes there, and then you can incorporate, it works like an agile fashion. You try to improvise yourself as an agency. How it works? By internal marketing. What happens is we promise many things to the customer, and employees deliver things to the customer. But most of the companies who are tech companies, they fail in one thing, which is called internal marketing. When you are enabling right thing inside, what happens is the delivery from employee becomes better. So if you want this pyramid to be balanced, you have to work on the area called internal marketing, which is called enabling the promise. It means changing the DNA of the company. Today morning, Nicholas talked about why, which is my favorite topic, which is again referred by the Simon Sinek, start with why. What I have found is agency work for the why. They are very clear about the purpose, mission, and the values they have. And it is part of the DNA of the company, and that's how they deliver fantastic thing to the customers. It's important to become an agency, you have to decide that who are the people in the company who has a D. D means decision-making power. Is the project manager is going to decide what is to be delivered, or subject matter expert is going to decide that what is to be delivered to the customer? How your technology will move around is defined by the tech manager or a tech architect, or it is decided by the client account manager that, sorry boss, you are saying this, but my client our client is looking for this solution and this returns, so we have to give this instead of that. So who is deciding in your company is going to decide whether you approach like a SI or you behave like an agency. You love the e-commerce domain and keep on adding missing services. So we saw what are the missing components in agency as a team. So if you start adding those components in your team, like subject matter experts or people who can run design sprint or who can work on marketing campaigns for the customer, or you can say, I would say mass comm experts, you will fill the gaps. Have domain experts along with the tech people inside the company who can drive value. I have seen that the communities sitting here are focused on certification of the developers, have more solution specialists, because what they serve to the customer is what customer need instead of what you can serve to the customer. Keep eyes on the client KPI. I highly recommend that whenever you are closing any deal or talking to the customer, you ask them what are the KPIs they are looking for when they are coming to you to get solution. When the client says, I want A, B, C, you can start prioritizing the solution. You can design the components. You can decide the client's journey. And then you can get into the Moscow analysis, like must-have features, should-have features, could-have features, and won't-have features. That helps client go faster online, test the market, come back, earn more, and again, you keep on doing the same. Find and solve client issues before they find it. It's important that you find customer's problem when the customer is engaged with you, instead of customer coming back and say, okay, my site is broken up or this workflow is not working. It's important that we check it and suggest something to the customer that this would help better. So one of my clients, Mr. Rahul Bansal, I will name him as well, because the line which he leaves with, or the mission he has is, or what he tells to his team is something fantastic. What he says is, we as an agency, if we have a client, in our presence, our client should not pray to the God. That's the level that integrity or the value they bring on the table. So it's amazing to have such kind of philosophy as an agency. Find customers who understand this value. It's important that it's not just that you deliver the solution, it's important that you find such customers as well. Because most of the time, it's irony in the market that sometimes we find merchants or the resellers or the people who are traders, they come and ask, I want XYZ as a solution, deliver it quickly, and the minimal cost, and I want to go live. So you will also not find many customers are like this, so it's important to have such customers who value this. Why I said all these things? Our company's mission is being a transformation and enlightenment hub, so I have been dealing with various merchants and also SIs to grow further. What I want is IT development companies, freelancer, and all the community to grow further. And that is the reason I have been trying this and spreading this word that behave like an agency. Being small but beautiful is important than being big and just killing the project. These are the people, some of the people I asked before as a fuel to this session. I asked various leaders sitting here and outside also that what makes you a leading agency? And some of the people, even some are sitting inside the room as well, they gave me great answers and they helped me with this. Soon I will be sharing their views on my blog. And then you can read that how they make the agency with the way they are and they are not. And I'm open to the questions. Yes, sir.
So my question is that, is it necessary for a system integrator to, why is it necessary for a system integrator to, graduate from SI to become an agency?
It's not compulsory. You can decide to be a tech company if it is your vision. You can stay there. If you have vision or mission, or you can say purpose, to deliver value to the customer, not a technology, you can start thinking that way, that I have to migrate to as an agency. Some companies, I appreciate some IT companies or product companies, they have a clear vision that we are a tech company and we will sell this. So make one time, sell multiple times is our motto. I love that. But most of the time, SIs talk that we were like one-stop solution, we are end-to-end agency. Those are the common taglines you find, but they fail in delivering some of the components. So I always believe in integrity. So when you say it, you do it. So it's not compulsory, but it's good to have. But when you have such kind of thing, what happens is we cut down the competition, we come out of rat race, and we have some clients who persistently give us revenue, and with client, we also grow. It's up to you. If you believe that this is interesting, it calls you, go for it. Otherwise, it's fine. Yes, sir?
You mentioned SL for clients. In
So what happens is, I think you are talking about this attribute. Yeah, hassle for the customer. Consider that, yes, this one. Consider that if I am a merchant, or I'm a store owner, or I'm a warehouse distributor, if I want my site to be developed, I need some component to be delivered by, say, for example, Magento SI. Then I need some managed hosting services. I may need some personalization or BI tools. I will need many things. And this is not the end of the story. What I need is somebody to market my services as well. Now, when you work with the big size agencies, what have is everything inside. So what happens is, as a merchant, I'm not supposed to go and integrate with multiple people. Otherwise, what happens is merchant end up spending a lot of time and energy dealing with multiple companies. When you talk with the agency, what happens is you get everything at one place. What happens is they become a stakeholder of your project. If they don't have some components, they integrate on your behalf and bring those services, but end-to-end solution is given by them. That is the reason I said hassle for the customer is reduced when you say it's an agency approach. Hassle for the customer increase because...
Referring to external organizations as well, not organization within one company.
Yeah, so what happens is world is nowadays functioning as a conglomerate. So it is tough to have everything inside one company. So I have seen that some companies work in agency approach, but they don't have all the expert inside. But they call on the experts to deliver best solution to the customers. If you look at Big Four as a consulting firms on earth, they have gradually built up their teams like this. So looking at the demand of the project, they go with the team hiring. They have subject matter expert. They look at the components, and they serve to the customer, and then they disperse.
So do you see everything is, I understand, I appreciate the point what you said. I strongly believe in the domain side where you're coming from, is business side, domain side.
I have worked on both the sides. That is my problem.
I understand this point, but how about the perception of a client? My client who is dealing with me as an IT vendor,
Yeah,
no matter what I do, no matter what kind of people,
correct.
the perception still continues to be like I'm an IT vendor.
Yeah, so that is where you have to change the DNA. The moment you change your DNA, your persona will change. So your customer will start relating to you in a different way. It changes you inside, so your outer core is also changed. Your packaging will also change. And that is the reason I said it is tough to find such customer who value this. So you find less number of customers, but when you have even those less customers, still your revenue is big. Right? Because, yeah, I understand that there is a lot of freelancing portals are there, a lot of bidding portals are there. Customers are very clear that I want 5 things in few $1,000s. In that case, you cannot help it. But when customer is open to interact, you can behave like an agency. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just have a comment. I feel that becoming one-point shop for someone, there's another way of approaching that we do as well, is to have partners who are good at something, and you still act as one-point shop for them, but then you are transparent sometimes.
Correct.
Just because they want to work with you, they don't want to talk to anybody else, and you ensure all the solution to them.
Perfect.
Instead of having all those experts in your own team, because it's really dependent on how big of clients you have and what is the size of the company and stage are you really. So you really want to have every department within the company, or you really want to work with other companies who are good at something.
Yes.
They have years of experience.
Correct.
You partner with them and you work, become the face of the
Correct.
because it's your client and it started with you.
I understand this. I have lived this journey in my past when I was doing job. What happened is we used to have 5 different companies working together to serve a customer, but the POC, point of contact to the customer, was our company. Now, this is fantastic when people collaborate together and work. With all due respect, I am Asian, you are also Asian, but with all due respect, what I have found is in this part of the world, instead of having collaborative working culture, what we have is more of a competitive culture. And that's where what you said is the ideal situation, but it is not the real situation. If it happens, I will be more than happy. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah. Okay. So if you want to know more about me, you can save these credentials and talk to me on that. Thank you. Thanks for listening.